What's up YouTube, Hoonzilla here. Today we have behind us the 2018 Nissan GTR. This is the new one that we just purchased. I told you guys I would come out and make a video describing differences between the 16 model and the 18 model. So let's take a closer look. What we're going to talk about is the differences specifically between the 2016 and the 2018 model that I've personally noticed. So this isn't any earlier models. We're not including the 09s and up from there. Just the difference between the 2016 that we used to have to the current 2018 model that we have now. So let's get right to it. We'll start right here at the heart of the car, the engine, of course. Not much has changed as far as designing. You still have your hand stamp plate. Everything's about the same. Still takes the really expensive Mobil 1. Great. The only difference is they did up the horsepower on this from the 2016 to the 2018 model, 20 more horsepower. So it was 545. This current model is pushing 565. I'm not sure exactly what changes they made to make that happen, but it does feel a little more powerful, and we're going to kind of get into more of that as we go around the car. The biggest noticeable changes to me, and one of the things that very much drew me to this car, is the exterior changes. As you can see, the front bumpers and just the whole front end all the way around is totally different. This used to have these sort of rivets. It almost looked kind of like an Eclipse-y front end. This is much more aggressive. So if you actually view this car, it just has such a better stance and looks more aggressive to me. Just overall in general, I love the new design of the bumpers. The side skirts are slightly different. And of course the rear bumpers are a little different. They have a lot more aggressive of a side skirt in the back. And we did debadge this car, made a video of that. So you can see we did remove the rear emblems. I just like it, prefer it that way. But the whole rear end looks a lot more aggressive. It just has harder body lines, especially on the white it shows up. For the wheels, there is a new wheel design. So you see this, these are actually forged wheels that they make. This is more of a 15 spoke. The previous on the 16 had like a 40 spoke wheel. I did not like the wheels on it. These actually look good. If you step back and look at this car, I'm okay with keeping these on here. That was one of the things. There is definitely a GTR tax when you buy a GTR. Everything for this car is super expensive, including wheels and tires. Where you go get a normal car, you can buy a really nice set of wheels for a couple $1,000s. This one, you have to buy a decent set of wheels for about $6,000. And if you want good wheels, it's going to cost you 10 grand plus. It is absolutely insane the amount of money you have to spend on aftermarket parts on a GTR. So the GTR tax is definitely alive and well, but these wheels actually look really good. On the 16, as soon as I got it, I was finding myself just wanting to change the wheels, and I was searching and looking and like, man, I got to find some wheels soon. Luckily, on this 18 model, I don't think we're going to have to worry about that. I'm okay with these. They look great. Moving on to the interior of the car, a lot has changed in here for sure. As you can see, the vents are different. They have these little fan blades that move around, a lot more comfortable and easier to use, and you actually get airflow on you. The dash looks a pretty good bit different. The steering wheel, this whole part is different now. So now it's telescoping. So this really helps a driver. You can change a lot of the settings here. So let me just move that for you. See? It's all telescoping, so you can move this whole entire piece up and down. I like it about right there at the top, but then you can also pull this in and out. So you have a retracting steering wheel as well as a telescoping dash. So that's perfect. So any driver can pretty much get in here and get comfortable. They really worked with comfort of the car and elegancy. You can tell that they tried to make it a lot more elegant of a design. You have a bigger touchscreen dash here now. The buttons are more simplified and a little easier to use. Then you have the vents down here, as well as carbon fiber trim inside the car, and this nifty little knob. This knob really reminds me of the BMWs, and I'm a huge BMW fan, by the way, and they all have these like nice little knobs. Now I've never even had to use this really because the interface for the touchscreen is so simple to use. So I've never even had to get into that, but it's there if you need it, and that's awesome. So the interior definitely way better than it was. This is Napa leather in here. They made it simple and just very elegant. Now, we will get into one of the things that I definitely appreciate over the 16 model. Used to, when you would get out of the car, your air conditioner settings, which was a kind of a big panel right here, once you got out of the car and got back in, it wouldn't remember any of the settings. So say you set your temperature to 71 degrees and you killed the car, got back in, all that's gone. So you completely had to reset it. Now when you get in the car, it actually memorizes what you did, which is great. That's a big, huge improvement. It was a little thing to bother you, but when you're spending upwards of $100,000 on a vehicle, you definitely want to make sure that it remembers what your temperature is when you're leaving. Another thing that used to really bother me about the 16 model, and I even put that in my dislike video of the things that I didn't like, was the backup camera was garbage and basically all around useless. This one still has a wide view, if you can kind of see, but it actually has the backup markers. When you go to turn the steering wheel, you can actually tell which way you're going, and things aren't seeming like you're just about to mow them over, even if it's a distance. So this backup camera on this one is actually a lot better. Still, for the price of the car, it's not great. it's okay. I have an F-250 that I drive, and the Ford backup camera is way better than this, but it's still okay. It works a lot better than the 16 model. Another thing we're going to pan over to is the paddles. They are actually fixed to the steering wheel now. So you see the paddle shift when you're in manual mode. Now when you turn the wheel, these paddles go with you, which makes it a little bit easier to utilize these when you're doing some spirited driving. So before, they were actually fixed to the column. So once you turn the steering wheel, they were just there, stationary. So if you were in the middle of a hard curve and wanted to shift gears, it was much more difficult to do so because the paddles were affixed to the column. Now they're on the steering wheel. I think they made some great improvements on that. All around, love this new interior design. Now we're gonna move into a couple things that I didn't like about the newer models. All right, guys, so you can see the model that I bought has the black interior. It was actually very hard to find a 2018 GTR that I liked. I had to look in a lot of places. When I was going to purchase this car, there was a lot of models, and they made some new models. So they made a pure edition of this car, which is about $10,000 less expensive. But what they do is they get rid of the Bose premium surround sound and the titanium exhaust that comes standard on the car. I didn't want that. I wanted to make sure that I got a premium to have everything that I wanted in it. Now, one of the things that I didn't like that GTR started trying to do was make the car, I guess, a little more elegant to a higher standard. So they started putting these weird interior colors into the vehicles, like there's a tan, there's like almost a reddish looking color. I didn't like that. They went overboard with the design. It was a little bit too much, and it was too nice for me. You know, when you buy a GTR, I feel like you know exactly what you're buying it for. It is a sports car. You know, it is a race car. In all essence, this is a supercar that is meant to be driven hard, go fast, and just have a good time in. So you don't really need all those bells and whistles, I don't feel like. If you want that, you're going to go definitely with a different type of car, if that's what somebody is looking to purchase in a car. So I've always liked how the GTR was very raw, and they just tried to go a little above and beyond with that, and that was almost every model that I went to try to purchase. So it was really hard finding the exact GTR that I wanted, because I only like monochromatic colors. So I don't like the reds or anything like that. I don't like the blue really that much. I do like that amber red, which is very hard to find, but white or silver are my two favorite colors. Even the dark gray, I like that too, but white and silver are my favorite colors on the GTR, white particularly. So when I found this white one, I'd found a few of them, but a lot of them had that weird interior. And I was just kind of like, hey, you know, don't try to be a fancy, nice luxury car, because you're not. Stick to what you know. But I did happen to find it, and that's great. So we do have this one. We have the black interior in it, which is fantastic. It's perfect. This is exactly what I wanted. And maybe some people do like that. What do you think about the interior on the new designs? You can Google it, check out the other interiors. Let me know in the comments if you prefer those or just the standard black. That'd be awesome. Okay, so on the 16 model, when I went and purchased it, I was actually very afraid. I'd heard about all the noises that the car made, how clunky it was, and it really doesn't set in until you're actually driving it. I had a previous video of 10 things I didn't like about the GTR before, and if you go back and watch that video, which I will put at the end of this clip, you can tell that, you know, I mean, I was nervous about buying it. There was a lot of things, like the noises. You just don't realize how bad those noises are until you actually get into it. So the first one I actually went and test drove, I thought something was wrong with the car, and I went to go test drive another one, realized that they had the same thing, and it's very loud on the inside. When people are doing these videos and you're watching YouTube reviews, it does not do that noise justice. But this one is much quieter. You hear a little bit of that clunk when you first start the car, but afterwards you really don't hear that. It's not the way it was. So what I was told and what I've been reading is that on this current model they actually did a lot of sound deadener, so the car is supposed to be a lot quieter, and we'll get into that. But you can see the custom views. You still have your function custom views as far as the dash goes. So you have all of your readouts that you want. You can actually set this up to customize. I just haven't customized number 3 spot there. And then if you go to your menu, the interface is a little bit different. So you have your Bluetooth audio, your home. This one has navigation. You have your XM. They'll tell you fuel prices. You just have a whole menu here that I haven't even really set up yet. I just honestly haven't had time. As soon as we got the car, we were at Texas 2K. We enjoyed it there, and then I haven't driven it much since I've been back. But let's get into the sound of this. So what I've noticed with driving and noises, that it is a lot quieter, especially the transmission noises. The exhaust seems to be louder, so you can actually hear the car. It sounds fantastic, especially once you put it into the race mode or R mode. The exhaust seems to just start resonating a lot more. It sounds fantastic. It feels faster. It feels quicker. It feels light and nimble. It's absolutely awesome. Now, there is a little bit more road noise up front because these are hard tires, so you do get a little more road noise. But as far as driving on the interstate, doing high speed, things like that, the noise is cut down significantly, especially all the clinks and clanks and the transmission noises and the bell housing grinds and things like that. So we're just going to go ahead and basically give a final thoughts on the 2016 versus the 2018. So somebody asked me, is there anything about the 2016 that I prefer over the 2018? Hell no, no, to the no, no, hell to the no, no, to the no. Absolutely not. The 2018 is just so much better. It's all the way around. Definitely a better driving experience. Definitely a better car. Definitely a lot nicer of a car. This is something now that you feel like you can take and go out, you know, anywhere to a fancy place and feel comfortable with it. This is something that you could take around a road course. It's fast, it's fun. It's a Nissan GTR, it's Godzilla. You know what it is. But this 2018 revisions and every single change that they made, I absolutely love, from the exterior design to the added horsepower to the interior features and the new amenities. This thing is absolutely 10 out of 10. I can't wait to see what they do next. And hopefully we'll hang on to this one for a little while. The only way I'm trading this in is if it's for another GTR, and I would just have to see what changes they make from there, because they are definitely going up. The only negative things about GTRs that I have is they are starting to get a little dated. This is the only negativity that I will throw at them. You know, the extra horsepower, you know, because we're almost at an additional 100 horsepower from when they first launched. So they are doing more. But there are cars that are definitely outrunning them now. There are cars that are matching them. The Corvettes, the new Vets that are out, are keeping up with the GTRs, if not outrunning the GTRs. So there is work to be done. And I think that they can make plenty of improvements in the future. I can't wait to see what that is. And I'll definitely be getting another one. That's the only way that this is going away. So thank you guys very much for watching. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. And let me know what you think about the 2018 model. We will catch you next time.